Says we're live. Hey guys, I'm Wes with Expedition Utah. This is Sam, and we've got Andrew with us today.
Hey everyone.
He is the winner of chest number 5. And so if you guys are on watching, feel free to ask him any questions that you want. If we get a chance, we'll have him answer them for you. But Andrew, so first off, do you have the chest with you?
I do. I got it here on my desk.
Let's see that thing.
Right here. It's a really
Cool.
nice chest. Like I, did some woodworking in high school. This is a good quality chest here.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Is there a favorite part about the chest? Or, I mean, I know what my favorite part was. But
yeah.
I mean, on the contents or the chest itself?
The contents, of course.
I really like that silver bar. Really.
Can you show it to everybody? Did you have it with you?
Yep, I got everything inside here still.
That's cool.
So there's the bar there. It's got some weight to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. When we put these chests together, we're kind of giggling a lot of times because it's just fun for us. We like that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's cool. So tell us from the beginning. I mean, we'd only kicked this thing off for 2 days before we found it. That's a huge record for us. I think before that it was a week and a half.
Yeah,
a week and a half. So why don't you walk us through how you found it so fast, if you don't mind?
Well, sure. Well, I guess we started out because I saw the video because I had never really heard of you guys before, but I watch a lot of YouTube. And so it just came up in my feed on Friday evening, kind of.
Oh, wow.
And so I watched it and I just got thinking to myself, like, that's around here. Like, I live in St. George, that's close by. I could try and figure this out. And so it was kind of a thought experiment at first, like, well, where would I look for it if I were to go out and look for it? And so I just was thinking, I started taking down notes. I watched the whole video and I would just sit and like pause the video and watch different parts of it. And I'd taken a bunch of notes here. I can show you. I've got some here. Let's see. Try some screen sharing. See if that's possible. Let's see.
Let's see. You said that you had maybe a geology background also. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Earlier?
Yeah. So I'm a student at Dixie State. I'm in their Earth Energy and Environmental Science program. It's a new program they just created. And so we do a lot of work with like geology, mapping, environmental science, that kind of stuff. So I had kind of a background in that kind of stuff, like geography, stuff like that. And so I guess the first thing that I really noticed, if I was going to go through everything, was the video. When I was watching the video, I looked at the rocks in the background of the first like 10 seconds of the video when you guys were hiding it there.
Yeah, sure.
And I like took a note and I could see, like, I kind of did a diagram. When we go out in the field to do field trips and stuff, we have our little notebook and we're just supposed to like do sketches of rock formations and like observe like the lithology, how they're made up. And so I kind of did that with the rocks you had in the background there. So I could see there was like a block of what looked like limestone behind Wes there. And then I could see you guys were standing on sandstone, like a red sandstone. And then there was what looked like a rock fall deposit in the background with like the smaller, blocky rocks stuck in the sand there. And so I kind of looked for where I would see those two rock types together. And I figured it was probably like the lower boundary of what's called the Kaibab formation, which is the limestone that the Hurricane Cliffs are made up here. So that narrowed it down a little bit, but it's still like you still have outcrops of that all up the Hurricane Cliffs up to Cedar City, basically, and then over by Bloomington too. so I still had to kind of think like, okay, where are they? A part that threw me off, I guess, was talking about the Tempest at the beginning. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there were people talking about the Shakespeare play, and I'm like, well, they got the Shakespeare Festival up in Cedar City where they do plays like that. And
Sure.
that was one of my theories. But the other one was like, well, if he's talking about a tempest, he might mean hurricane, which is, the city there. And so, was talking about towards the precipice too. So like after I had identified the rocks, I started going through the riddle and trying to work out what all the parts of the riddle meant. And so precipice, I figured, was probably the cliffs. So that narrowed it down, kind of the hurricane cliffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured you're going to be walking like towards the cliffs. And then I looked at the video again, and there was a picture that I'd taken, just a little screenshot of one part of your video where you could see you're kind of looking down the canyon, and there was like this little hillside in the back, this little bird that sticks out of the mouth. And so I like looked at the shadows too, and like most of the shadows are going to be facing north. And so I figured the mouth of the canyon is going to be pointed west.
Right.
And so after I'd figured that out, it's going to be one of these draws up the hurricane cliffs where, you're going to be going towards the cliffs, so up the canyon, and you had to have like the sandstone along the bottom and then the limestone on the sides. And another thing that I saw was the leopard from Arizona. Like I figured that was going to be the leopard frog, so it had to be near water. So there had to be like water at the bottom.
Yes,
and
exactly.
So I basically just got on Google Earth and went down all the hurricane cliffs until I found a spot that had all those pieces that fit together good.
Exactly. Good. That's awesome. We've actually gone through some of our videos in the next chests and making sure that we don't accidentally show people where we're at.
And we've been aware of it to begin with. Like, we've been trying to be pretty conscientious about it, but for me and Wes, like when we shot that video, we're like, this background looks pretty generic. Let's shoot it here. Like there's got to be a million areas like this. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
And that's exactly the hurricane cliffs. That's what we were trying to get people to. We knew it was going to throw people off and send them to hurricane up north of where you were a little bit. The leopard from Arizona actually means small spring. And so we tie things in with history, and Arizona is derivative of a native word for small spring. And so so Arizona actually had a double meaning. If people haven't figured out by now, this was actually found in Arizona up Rock Canyon, 2 miles south of the border.
Just barely.
Just barely.
It was too cool of an area. And it was so close to St. George. We're like, dude, we got to do it.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the canyon itself? It's pretty unique, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Like as I was walking up the canyon, it was really early because I was itching to get out on Friday night. I sat up pacing all night long, basically. And I left at like the crack of 6 o'clock is when I stepped out to go there.
Yes.
So I I parked about a mile away from the canyon entrance and hiked in. And I was just snapping pictures all the way along. I was like, this is absolutely beautiful. And like walking up the canyon, you've got like these beautiful sandstone formations on the bottom and just the water that's coming down and pooled there. And it just makes for some really picturesque scenery, and I would recommend going on that hike any day, even now that there isn't exactly a treasure to incentivize you there. I'd say there's still treasure in that canyon.
Absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why we picked that canyon is the big pools of water all the way up it, and it flows. And then, so did you actually hear the leopards from Arizona when you got to the chest?
I heard 3 of them. I distinctly remember because it was cold and windy. Like I stepped in front of the canyon. I just got, hit by this gust of wind. And I'm like, oh, this is the right place. He was talking about how windy it was in the video. And so I hiked up the canyon, and since it was cold, they weren't really that active. but I remember hearing them
Sure.
3 times, and like the first time I heard it, I was like, "Oh, that's it," you know. Like I had kind of a Kronk moment for his new group, like, oh, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jaron Higley says send a pin. Now on Instagram here after today, we are going to put a drop pin and a picture of where this canyon's located. And then earlier, Dan Price said geologists will bust you. So funny. So,
You got
that's hilarious. You got us. Like, we'll do better next time, though. Dang it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go through some content and watch things for sure. But
so it was definitely mixed emotions for me when I saw your picture when you tagged me in that photo. Like I said, I was out to dinner and it just yeah, I was like, oh man, already. It was exciting for me. It's always excited.
But like that chest, like I feel like we put forth like quite a bit of effort, especially into that one. And like the riddle was so like concise, and we're like, this is gonna be a harder one. Like we're not gonna be surprised if this goes quite a while, And like we were talking earlier, I was up fishing some pretty remote, canyon that's like I didn't think I'd have service really, and my phone goes off. I look down, it's Wes, and he's like, dude, somebody found it already. And he sent me just like a snapshot of it. I was like, holy crap. And I didn't have good enough service to get on the internet or whatever. So I'm like trying to get on to look and see the details. But it was like, holy cow. Yeah, you did good, Andrew. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't easy. I really appreciate the work you guys put into it. Like you could tell that the riddle was very concise, obviously a lot of thought had gone into that. And even like when I got there, because I had only I'd taken some screenshots of the Instagram posts of where it was hidden. And so I looked underneath in the little crevice there, and I thought the chest would just be sitting on the rock there. Like it would just be out in the open. I'm like, dang it, someone found it already.
Yeah.
And so I sat down there. I was kind of mad, and I got looking through my phone at all the pictures. And I was like, well, in one picture, the rocks aren't there and the chest is. And the other one, there's those 2 little white rocks. It's probably behind those rocks. And so I had to like dig them out. I had to get my rock hammer to kind of hook the chest in because I couldn't really fit in there very good. So I couldn't reach it.
Hey, so here's a secret treasure bit to it. Did you look up when you were sitting there?
Kind of, not really. So, like I had to duck down into the crevice there.
On that rock right there, that big boulder, if you look up, there's a lot of quartz crystals all over there, and they've got red, the red dirt minerals and stuff in with them, and they're pretty cool. They are pretty freaking cool, and there's some fossils mixed in that limestone that's kind of off on that one side. It's actually a really cool formation too. So
we'll share some photos of the fossils and the crystals.
We have some cool pictures to share with you guys now.
Yeah,
those are the photos that were like we can't share this because this would be identifying,
Yeah, I got some good pictures of those rocks too because they're pretty awesome. You can see the fossils and stuff in them.
We lucked out when we went up there. It was actually like a picturesque day. Just at the end, we started getting some wind, but that was a really fun hike for us too.
Yeah, it was. That was a good one. We liked it,
and it's good because it's it's kind of an easier hike. There's a lot of hikes up around here, especially like up in Zion or somewhere where you're basically hiking up a cliff. But this one, it's pretty flat most of the way. And it's a good hike, even like
where did you access the canyon from? There's a few different accesses there.
So I went in, I parked right below the cliffs, about maybe like a mile north of the cliffs is where that road goes down the Hurricane Cliffs. And then I accessed it from like the western part and just hiked up the canyon until I found the outcrop basically where it was hidden.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool. If you have like a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle, you can get pretty close to it. But I mean, we didn't worry about that. We parked a ways away and walked on in, and it's a pretty mellow thing. I mean, it's it's getting hot and stuff, like pretty easy to get dehydrated or whatever. But no mountainous like cliffs you got to crawl up or anything.
No, Fort Pierce is just right up Hurricane Wash from Rock Canyon, and that's a pretty fun place to check out too. So anybody that does see this, Fort Pierce is right on the Utah side, south of Hurricane, Utah, and then if you follow that wash, it's called Hurricane Wash, takes you right to the mouth of Rock Canyon, and it's a beautiful canyon. It's easy to hike up. We went 2 miles, I believe, up the canyon is where the chest was. So it was 2 miles up that canyon.
Yeah.
So I think all in all, you were about a 2.5 mile hike from where we parked.
Yeah.
So where did you guys park when you went up there?
We took a 2-track that bebopped over to the actual wash, and then we hiked up the wash. So
I think I remember. I think that's probably where I hiked out of it because I was pretty tired by the time I got out. Hauling this chest around. It's a heavy chest.
It's a heavy chest.
It was hiking out. Like I'll just go along the road to get back out.
So. Yeah. And Jaron Higley on here is talking about Honeymoon Trail to Rock Canyon. We actually have a picture of that sign, and we were kind of saving that as like, if it went way long, we'd start posting stuff about the Honeymoon Trail and stuff.
Yeah.
So
I did. I saw that. I drove past it. I parked kind of just a little bit south of that trailhead, I think.
Nice.
That's cool. Now, everybody, we do a silver giveaway. We'll get back and we'll talk some more about it. But real quick, we do a silver giveaway for every subscriber on YouTube that comments on the hunt video. Yep. And then we actually had a St. George local. Let's see if I can hold this up here. You can see this Reckless Metals 10-ounce bar of silver. We're going to give that away today. And when we did our drawing earlier, Jacqueline Heaton won that. But Jacqueline, you've got to get a hold of us. We're not going to get a hold of you. So hopefully you watch this video and then you can get a hold of us. We'll give you a couple weeks to reach out to us. But so tell me about Andrew. Tell me about when you first found it. Like, how were your emotions? Were you excited or were you just like?
Well, like I said, I was kind of bummed out because I thought someone had got there before me because I didn't read all the posts on Instagram like I should have because I don't really use Instagram that much. So I went from like a really low point to as soon as I like thought to myself, it's probably, I uncovered those rocks. And then I just thought to myself, heck yeah, there it is. And I like took it out and I was like, I just can't believe this. I was absolutely stunned. I think like I laughed out loud, literally.
Yeah.
They're alone in the canyon, maniacal cackling going on. Like, I found it. I can't believe awesome. It. Like, I was stunned and I was grinning the whole way home, even though I was, tired from the hike, but I was ecstatic. And I still, that feelings kind of lasted all through the weekend. And I was still happy even to this day. I almost can't believe it still.
Yeah.
Like it's almost awesome. A shock,
Right.
And that's awesome.
I remember so Saturday morning after I'd found it, the first thing I did, like I went and I told my dad what I'd done. Cause he's always been into, treasure hunting. That's kind of a big thing here in Southern Utah. Like every crack's got a story about Spanish gold.
Right? Yeah.
And so like him and both my grandpa, it's kind of almost a family tradition to kind of sit and think about where we're going to go out and find the gold. And so first thing I did was call him, talk to him about it. He was super excited. He couldn't believe it. Then I stopped and showed it to him. And then I told my other family members. I actually felt kind of bad because what I did to my brother, I sent him your guys' video, the first video that you'd posted. And I was like, what do you think about this? Should we go out and look for it? And he was like, I got some ideas where it could be. And then I went over and visited with him. And we went over his theories. I posed a few other theories. And they were good theories, too. Like, he was going in the right direction. And then I said, like, but my best theory so far is that it's right here in my backpack. And I, pulled it out, put it on the table. He's like, what? No. You little knucklehead, kind of.
That's awesome, man.
I felt kind of bad because he was getting excited to go out and do it. But You know?
Oh yeah.
Well, we got more chests for them.
Yeah, in fact, we had a guy ask just a minute ago if there's more. There's a lot more up north. Most of them are up north. There's more people up here that follow us so far, but we are branching out and moving other places too.
And it's way cooler up here. Just saying.
Northern Utah is amazing.
It's amazing. I did a poll on my Instagram the other day, and I was like, how many people prefer southern to northern or whatever? I can't remember how I worded it, and it was like a pretty drastic. Everybody likes the north, and I can't blame them. But I really enjoyed our time down south with this chest in particular. It was a really cool area. I was like, oh man, this is gonna suck. It's gonna be the desert, And as soon as you get up that canyon, it's like a little oasis in the middle of the flipping desert, So it's pretty cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Did you get startled by any cows up that canyon?
So on my way out, I ran into some cows. Actually, I think they were more startled by me. I was, super happy. I was kind of talking to myself too, like, oh, there's some cows. And so, I just walked right on past them though, and they were kind of jumpy. Did you guys run into them up there, man?
Yeah, when we were there were some cows there too. Let's see, Brooklyn Pedersen says we went out Friday, but we didn't think we could get to the canyons. So
yeah, I think I got a picture from her, and I was like, "Oh man, I think this might be the top of the canyon." Brooklyn, was that the picture you sent? Was it from the top of the canyon? I was going to ask you, and then
I think so. I think that's the one I got.
Of course, I got scatterbrained and forgot to ask you, and then. Right. One of these other guys, I can't remember who, was telling me some cool stuff about coming from the other side, it sounded like.
Yeah.
I might have to make another trip down to the stinking stupid desert and play around down there some more, because it's a pretty cool area.
There's some cool stuff down that way.
There's a
lot more water down there than people think. So
the best part of Utah is Idaho. Just goofing. Dan Price, false. So false. I lived in Idaho for a while. Idaho sucks. I'm gonna say it. Idaho sucks. I lived in a really beautiful part of Idaho. Everybody was like, nah. The phrase "Utards." First of all, that's a dumb phrase. And the fishing's better here. Everything's better in Utah. I'm just gonna say it. So take that, Dan Price.
I'm a Utah fan myself, so
I do like Utah a lot. Idaho's not all bad, but
I like Idaho. Just saying, I like Idaho. Yeah. I like Utah better, but
Dan Price commented LOL. I'll take that as an LOL in defeat. I'm just teasing, man. Idaho's cool. We both go to Idaho quite a bit too.
So Andrew, are you gonna try to follow any more? We've got some more coming down your guys' way. That we've been working on.
I'll probably still keep tabs on you guys, but I don't know if I'm going to go out hunting that much more, just because, I've got a really busy schedule. I'm working part-time and going to school, but We'll see if you guys, post another video that I think I've got pinned down, I might go out. That's awesome. I probably wouldn't make it up north very far, but if you guys do some more down south, I'll be looking.
Yeah. We got some more. I can't really say how close, but in the southern region.
Close enough you'll be tempted. We can say that. But we've been on a few treasure hunts ourselves, and I'm like, not going to go on this. And then I read it, and I'm like, I think I know where it is. And then I cannot not go. I have to go.
I'm a bit of a workaholic, and Wes got me to straight up leave work one day to go about 3.5 hours away and hike up some pretty gnarly mountains till 3 a.m. Yeah. And, one of my favorite pictures ever. It was so dense forest. It was like scrub oak, right? We were coming down this gnarly canyon, and it's straight up and down, just bushwhacking. And all of a sudden, my feet weren't touching the ground like nothing was. I was just suspended by scrub oak because it was so dense. And I was like, what the crap? Had to jimmy down and keep going. It's pretty cool, though.
That is cool. Well, we'll probably get wrapped up here pretty quick, but we do have another chest coming pretty soon, within a week or two, probably. We're just working on some details. Make sure we don't we got to go through videos and make sure we're not tipping people off too close.
Yeah. We're always like paranoid about locations on pictures and stuff. We like always make sure we're super careful, and
we like email pictures and then screenshot them just to make sure that there's no.
And Andrew over here is like,
attached.
I'm going to be smarter than that. That's awesome.
I don't know. My professors might beg to differ. I can.
You know what?
Especially.
We need to get a hold of your professors and tell them to give you some bonus points for this. I think this deserves bonus point extra credit. Don't you, Wes?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think so. You use geology to find a freaking 100-ounce bar of silver. Take that.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep it, sell it? I mean,
I figure I'll probably hang on to it for a bit. It's such, an exciting thing, like a big, memory, almost like a memento. Like people were talking like, oh, you're rich now. You don't have to go to school anymore. And I'm like, I can't sell this thing. Basically, nothing's changed. I just have a really cool artifact to, stick in my safe or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I'm probably going to hang on to it for a while.
Yeah.
Nice.
We have actually talked about doing a couple chests up in the Salt Lake area and have them be, if you find it, we'll pay for we'll do like a $5,000 scholarship. So if you guys like that idea,
you'd get all the college students,
so
all searching the hills for that.
School's expensive.
School can be. We just thought that might be kind of fun, and just try to get everybody involved. We enjoy this so much, and it's just been a blast. So
it's been a pretty wild one.
Keep doing it as long as people are enjoying it. So.
It is a lot of fun. And can I just say, I appreciate you guys and everything you're doing. And it's really awesome. I love that you guys like tie in the history. And it really, it kind of helped me reconnect with even like my grandpa and my dad. My grandpa passed away about 10 years ago or so. Uh-huh. And so it really helps, dig into the culture. I just really love that about you guys, how much heart you put into it.
We didn't actually get to do a whole lot of history. Normally, the second video has a lot of the history too, and so just so people that know, right where Hurricane Wash goes through the bottom before it gets to those cliffs, that's where Dominguez and Escalante ran into a group of Indians, and they ended up trading for turquoise right there at the mouth of that canyon, and that's one of the reasons why there's so much turquoise in that box. Yep. And so we try to add a little bit of history into there, and then they ended up taking the groups of those Indians down to the next tribes and stuff to make sure they're safe. So that there was a little bit of history in there. So I do recommend, if you would have read the history, it might have even mentioned Hurricane Wash in the history. I know the book I had did. And so like I said, we spend hours and hours just kind of looking at angles and pouring through the history and seeing how we can tie it together. And then we run with it. And
Wes does most of that. I'm just like the annoying pack mule. And then half the time Wes just packs everything too. So this is like along for the ride.
But I will say this next chest is the one we're doing next is I'm probably so far the most excited about. It's number 6, and it's a fun one. It's a fun one. So I hope everybody's paying attention to it when we kick it off here in a few weeks. So probably at least 2 weeks, right around there.
Yeah, it turns out this stuff is like a lot of work. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but we're not necessarily the most we like to spend most of our times in the mountains, not like on the internet, social media stuff. So we're like a little bit behind on some stuff. So yeah, we appreciate all the people that are like patient with us when we have issues and stuff.
Right. And if you guys actually go over to Sam's page on Expedition Utah, I think there's a link in Utah's Hidden Treasures. Go check him out. You'll probably see a little bit more of our exploration together and just us having fun. You'll probably see a lot more of that than what you're going to see on the Utah's Hidden Treasures page on Instagram. So go check him out and give him a follow. He does so much work when it comes to these treasure hunts. I appreciate him. So
that's all Wes.
Bronco. I see the Bronco. So yes, I'll tell you what, it's still cold.
It's still
cold. The Bronco is coming, but we're watching the weather pretty close, and it'll kick off here. Give it another month. You'll probably see the Bronco.
It's going to be coming soon enough.
Month and a half, maybe.
That's one that's going to be, a lot of wild times.
So, and I want everybody to know too, the bigger the chest, the harder it's going to be to not only find, but to possibly even get to. We're never going to make you rope up and go climb a cliff or anything that could get you killed.
No.
But if you want the Bronco, you're going to work for it. So that's all there is to it. Yeah. So get your walking legs ready.
Get in shape. It's gonna be a fun one, but we got lots of videoing and shooting stuff. Not with guns, but like with cameras and stuff to do. And we're gonna be getting back in shape, and it'll pay off for you guys to get ready for some more walking too.
Yeah.
We love that. Like we get a lot of people that are like, I'm the same way. If I'm not doing something fun for the exercise, like I'm not very good at exercising, and people are like, man, like I love when they send me the pedometer, I think is what it's called or whatever. They're like, clocked like 30 miles looking for this treasure chest. And I'm like, that's awesome, because otherwise, like I couldn't get on a treadmill and walk, that's for sure. But so it's fun, man. We love this thing. It's fun.
Yeah. Thanks guys for joining in. I'll go back through the comments. If I missed any, I'll try to reply to all of them. Andrew, thanks for joining us, and thanks for following along.
Dude,
yeah,
that's awesome. That's way awesome.
Thanks.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was awesome. I'll be watching your other stuff, so we'll see if there's one I think we might find.
Definitely do. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate you, and thanks guys for.
One more time. What was that lady's name?
Jacqueline.
Just one more time.
Let me pull it up real quick if I can.
You wouldn't believe how hard it is to give away like some of the free silver. Like people have missed out on it because they don't hit us up. So
because they never messages. So yeah, we'll try to be better. Where is it? Jacqueline Heaton. Jacqueline Heaton won the silver. So reach out to me and we'll get that sent to you, along with some stickers from Reckless Metals. And if you're in St. George or anywhere, check him out. Cool that he just donated that, guys. That's $250 brick of silver. That's really cool. Thanks, Reckless Metals. We appreciate it.
Heck yeah.
And I got on his page and checked him out. Pretty good. He's got some fun stuff that they're doing. So yeah, we really appreciate that. Oh, and we did have another donation too on this last one.
Yeah, she wanted to remain anonymous.
She wants to remain anonymous, and that's amazing. We appreciate everything. So,
but shout out to you, anonymous lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuel is getting expensive.
Right. Yeah, we actually joke about putting a parks pass and a fuel card in there too, just so that people can actually use the parks pass.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But so that might be a thing. Maverick, get on board with this. Help us out. We'll throw one of your gas cards in there. So anyway. All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks for your time, man.
We appreciate it. And
thank you guys.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys.